Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Rudy Reyes, and welcome to the Root Dog Show. I am your host, Rudy Reyes. Make sure you tune in via Spreaker. Come here, chat on Facebook Live. You can find us on the Root Dog Show's Facebook fan page. Yes, I am on Facebook. I'm not elusive. You can find me wherever I may be. The fan page is sure exists. Anyway, I am Facebook Live. I'm right here on Spreaker as well. So please come chat, say hello, sit for a spin, because we're in for an hour of great stuff. Everybody has great stuff. Some are bigger bags, somebody has smaller bags. But anyway, it's the same stuff. So don't get confused. Anyway, I'm live right here for an hour on Facebook Live, so feel free to chat here in the chat room here on Facebook. We're on the Two Lights News Radio Network. Good afternoon, everybody. But tell me you didn't miss a fantastic set of preseason games this week and weekend. Come on. Shout it out. Spill the beans, as it were. An old metaphor. I just dated myself. But that's okay. You know what? The NFL is all about creating preseason action. Some of it was not so good for last night from an injury-riddled situation with the New York Giants. And clearly the Oscar award goes to a couple of players, Brandon Marshall, naming one of them, of course, Odell Beckham Jr. being the other operative Oscar winner because of the types of injuries that they had faced during yesterday's matchup against a Cleveland Brown team that doesn't look like your mom and dad's Cleveland Browns team. But when you look over the last 2 weeks, and because you didn't get a chance to watch any preseason football, shame on you. Shame on you. Shame on yourself. Because you missed a lot of great football. Yes, it is preseason. Yes, it is preseason. Don't get those two confused between preseason and regular season games. Like, you may have witnessed some seriously bad preseason games in addition to the ones that you'd witnessed. But again, after all, it is preseason only. Those teams heading into the final stretch of the remaining two games will face off this week, including tonight. But kickoff won't happen until September 10th, so make sure you tune in there. And just in case you didn't know, you are now informed it is my birthday weekend. Some teams are exactly who we thought they were, and others are surprising and refreshing. The Browns being one of them. Yes, I put refreshing and Browns in the same exact sentence. But what's even more refreshing in the long term is a wide array of talent you will not only find making their presence known in the NFL. We have another league, especially here in Los Angeles, and very local to the area, for which I am very happy to be a part of, always working on it, always communicating, and that's really what it's about. But I'm part of the Los Angeles Scorpions, a team in the World Developmental Football League, and if you were looking for anything to be deeper, maybe deeper than the Chargers are looking right about now, you need to tune in and check out the level of talent in the WDFL. And you're probably wondering why you may not have heard of them. Well, there's a lot of reasons why. First and foremost, they're not an NFL team, so that could be one reason why. But they are sanctioned by the NFL, even though they don't want to put their name on it. It's a real cut and dry situation, I guess, at least in what the NFL is looking at right now. They've been here for a little while, not too terribly long, but more importantly, you've seen or heard some interviews right here on the Root Dog Show with players who are part of this Los Angeles Scorpions team and system. And they're all trying to do the very same thing like every other NCAA team, every AFL team, every CFL team. And those players wanting to get to the next level is what it's all about. Look, this doesn't happen all by itself. There are many moving parts to making not only a team function, but a league function as well. When you look at the integral workings of a team, you must not remiss the components, and I'm talking about the coaches, because without them, you have nothing. You can have all the powers that be, but without coaches who have the experience, in addition, you're going to find yourself on the outside looking in. But the coaches, and I can't stress this, I don't know if there's enough conversations about. There should be maybe a Happy Coaches Day, a Happy Coach Day, or something like that. There's Happy Father's Day, right? Is he your coach? Is he your mentor? Is he somebody who's been there for you throughout the ups and downs, the ins and outs? Yeah, so why not Happy Coach Day? Maybe we can start a trend here on the Root Dog Show. Maybe. When you look at everything that happens in this WDFL league, especially the Los Angeles Scorpions, you cannot remiss what is there as a foundational aspect. Let's look at this a little bit more closely. Foundation is a building that is an underlying basis or principle for something. And the lowest load-bearing part of the building, typically below ground level. I said this earlier on Twitter, I said it on Facebook, I stuck it on LinkedIn. I said anything that is built on sand will sink right next to an idea without purpose. Well, we have a purpose here today on the Root Dog Show. And I think coaching is a lost art, but a gentleman who needs no relative introduction over because he's been in the system for quite some time. When I mean the system, I mean the football system. Welcome to the Root Dog Show, Brian Banks Sr., who is a decorated player with years, not only as a varsity player in soccer, track, and field, but an avid bowler from the age of 7. Not to mention a dual-honor recipient in football starting in the defensive back position. Team captain, MVP, and voted most inspirational. And we're going to find out what makes him aspire and be an inspiration to those young men who are playing with the Los Angeles Scorpions this season. Welcome, Mr. Brian Banks Sr., head coach for the Los Angeles Scorpions. Welcome to the show, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Not a problem. Thanks for taking your time out to speak to me this afternoon. I know you're a busy guy, but how are things, and are you ready for the upcoming season kicking off August 26th?
We're ready. We have a pretty good program in place. We've got decent players that understand and are picking up the system really fast. So we expect to put on a really good performance this Saturday.
Well, I'll tell you what, this Saturday is going to be a whirlwind of emotions, a whirlwind of attitudes, a whirlwind of those individuals that are trying to get to the next level. I've interviewed some of them. There are a lot of guys I have not had the pleasure of interviewing. I'm going to try to fit them in here right on the Root Dog Show this week, but it's certainly going to take a little bit of time. When you look when you look at all the events that have taken place, including the upcoming season, but to go back to the Combine, that's came and gone. Not to mention the off-season, for some there's no such thing, at least not for me. I'm always grinding, I'm always working, I'm always talking, I'm always networking on the phone, and it's an ongoing battle. I was taking a tally of players, and at this point, and just this year alone, 32 would-be NFL draftees trying to get into the next level, which is the NFL. I've had the pleasure of talking to, meeting, getting to know. Some have added to my Facebook, and others have not been added yet. And some of them just decided to not play football altogether. Why? Because of a lot of mitigating circumstances. Everybody has their own circumstance. Everybody has their own situation. But when you look at the talent that you have on the field now and putting players in respective positions where they will shine, and those positions that they can thrive in, what processes have you specifically undertaken to help those coaches, the other coaches in the system, recognize the vision for this team?
Well, you have to put them through a battery of drills that relate to their position to see what type of footwork they have, what their strength level is, and most importantly, what their endurance level is. Without those three things, it's hard to really work with an individual that doesn't have them. Now, he can develop them with us, but those are the things that are necessary. And most important, which is what I just told my guys last week, following directions. Most important thing.
But it's following directions, all there is to it. You clearly have identified them in the wide receiver role, in the quarterback position, the center, your wideouts, your tackles, your guards. You put all that into position. But when you evaluate this type of talent, this level of talent, no, they're not NFL guys, but hopefully this will polish them up enough to shine in front of NFL scouts who could very well be watching this year. What type of criteria do you look for to make sure that they are either ready or not ready to enter the LA Scorpion system?
We do a lot of things during the week. I actually have basically a classroom tech session during the week to make sure that our strategies are in place. And as well, we have a workout regimen that they have to also send in to us that we watch and monitor as well. So even on the days we don't practice, we still have demands of them to do on their own.
And are they committed? You can say you're committed, and again, talk is cheap. You can say whatever you want. But do you believe that they're taking pure ownership? And I know that I had James Henderson on the show last week, and we're talking about his readiness, his skill set, wanting to show what he's made of. And he's posted videos about his progress, working out, things of that nature. Are other players taking the same ownership, the team, the same type of mentality of ownership in order to maximize their visibility when they're on the field this season? I think we may have lost you there, Coach. Are you there? Are you back?
I got scared for a minute. I almost hung up.
So you had me scared for a minute. I have to go through the whole process. No, look, when you look at talent, when you look at guys like James Henderson, and they're really sending their film out, and they're really making an effort to get people to notice what they're doing and how they're doing it, are other players following suit?
There we are.
Okay. Are those players following the same suit as James Henderson is?
One more time. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Is James Henderson setting the bar? Is he setting the standard for other players to follow to post their workouts that you are aware of?
I have personally recorded what exactly they've been doing. So that's the only way I can really keep track. The difference between this level of football and all others, it's kind of like an old school 50-year ago NFL. You have guys that have jobs, they work, they have families, so they don't really get the time to practice football, quote unquote, every day. But we still demand of them to practice on their off days to stay sharp, because we only practice a couple of days a week. And that's all we really can do. That is the only disadvantage of this level, is that you don't really get the time to put in everything that you need to put in, like a normal team that practices every day.
Do you believe that the outcome, if for some reason, let's just say that they would be able to play and practice football every single day, day in and day out, do you believe that given that opportunity, that they would take advantage of it and become even better?
That's very possible. What you have to do from a coaching standpoint is keep your strategy and terminology very simple so that everyone understands what's going on. There's no confusion. And everyone can get on the same page faster. As much as you want to run gadget and trick plays, they all start with the basics.
So give me some of the basics. I mean, everybody. Right. No, I was going to say, give me some examples of this, because everybody has the mindset that, and again, even some NFL players will show up to camp, and they will also be out of shape, out of sorts, out of sync. How do you keep these guys motivated to continue finding a way to be on top of their game, even though they're not practicing 2 or 3 days?
I'm sorry, repeat that. Please forgive me. My daughter's chasing me around the house.
That's okay. Don't chasing me around the house. Gosh, what happens? What's wrong with that phone? No, when you look at these guys, and again, their level of preparation, even NFL guys show up to training camp, are not very in shape. And there's been a lot of accusations, and you can point fingers to guys and say, you know what, you didn't show up well, or you didn't do this, or you didn't do that. You're 100 pounds overweight. You know, Eddie Lacy had the same situation happen to him. But how can these guys stay in shape? Is it word of mouth? Is it via phone call? Is it text? How do you know that they're preparing themselves to get to the next level, to show everything they have this season?
Oh, I push them at practice. I push them to make sure that they're doing it. You can tell, because if a guy's not working out, as your workouts intensify, you see where their stamina is. If they can take it, just standing up and trying to breathe a little hard, you're okay, or they're okay. But if they got to go throw up, they're not doing what they're supposed to do during the week.
That makes sense. Cardio, and I've spoken about this with James and Moke, and we were both on the same conversation because they both have been a part of a duality in the sports genre. And I was talking about cardio with those young men, and I thought to myself, man, hopefully they're on point with what they have to do from a cardio standpoint. What is it that you push them through? What types of workouts, what types of things do you get them to adhere to in your system that you believe will help them be on display for everybody to watch this season?
I focus on footwork, speed footwork in track with my wide receivers and my backs. And they actually do a lot of it on their own where we don't have to focus on it a lot, but we still do just to make sure that they're generally sharp.
Well, it sounds like you're on the right pace.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay.
You have guys that come out that are out of shape. And you have to give them the opportunity to also get in shape and give them some of the tools that they need to get in shape a little faster.
So when you're talking about tools, what do you do to help push them, to help them understand that this could be their very last opportunity to present themselves in such a way that would enable, at some point, I know I've interviewed lots of guys from the past 4 years. 4 years and counting of doing this. I've interviewed a lot of players, and every one of them have said, well, I'm ready to go. If an NFL team wants to call you, I would ask, they'd say, yes, I'm ready to go. I'm proof positive. Some have made it, and to be honest with you, some have not. Do you think that based on what you're giving them, those tools that have been passed down to them, that they're taking full advantage of those, so that way this season will not be a loss for them?
Well, the motivating tool is the truth. You tell them about the numbers game in the NFL and in the business of football, period, and where they stand. That has to be a motivating factor to get where you need to be. A lot of guys play this level and they don't understand the business of football and where they stand in it. And it's my job to teach them exactly where that is. And they have to understand that they're breaking in to the pros from the back door. They're not coming in from the NCAA or the CFL or AFL. So performance, being in shape, knowing the plays, everything is pertinent to get to the next level. And especially, again, I'll say, following directions. If a coach tells you to go to the left and you go to the right, you're out.
Now, a lot of the underlying message that I say, you've done this a long time. You've done it, and we're going to go a little bit back in time, if you will. But one last thing on this is you can have all the numbers. You can make them, you can pad them, you can do whatever you want with those numbers. But it takes a concerted effort of not only being a stand-up individual, but being able to put those numbers in accordance with who you are as a person, put those two together and make it sellable, make it marketable, make it work for you. It's your last opportunity, and in some cases, a lot of players, that's exactly what it is. It's one last opportunity, one last ditch effort, whatever narrative you want to use. And I feel as though when talent's evaluated, as I've watched a lot of film, you probably have as well, Coach, when you watch a lot of film, you look for certain criterias. Do you find it difficult at times to make sure that they're the right fit for this team?
That is always the issue with players at this level. Their lifestyle sometimes don't fit what it takes to be a professional football player. Being a professional football player takes a lot of commitment and a lot of time. You have weight training, you have running, you have film studying. Even if you don't play on the team, if you're just a free agent, it's still a lifestyle that you have to live. And that is what I have to teach and instruct to a lot of these young players.
Now, there's a huge event going on at AT&T Stadium, which I'm sure you're all over, and I'm sure that's part of your message that you're sending to your players, is that after Kansas City takes on the Dallas Cowboys, after that game, there's a WDFL championship game pitting East versus West. There's two other teams involved in the process here on the West Coast, along with the Scorpions. What message are you explicitly sending out to these young men to help them understand it's going to take everything they have, every ounce of effort, sweat, blood, and tears to get to that championship game this year?
That really raised the stakes for everything. They are, I shouldn't say they, I should say we are in a position of a very big media circus with playing at this stadium. No minor league team has played in a major stadium that I know of. So that makes it extremely huge. And football is like any other sport. If you want to get noticed, you have to win. Period.
Winning is the name of the game, and that's the only way that you're going to get your 15 minutes of fame. I'm a poet and didn't know it.
Yeah.
And this is Rudy Reyes right here on the Two Lights News Radio Network on the Rude Dog Show. Make sure you tune in. Right now, I have a chat room. I see some people chatting in here. Let's see what the buzz is. Anybody have any questions for Coach Banks? Let's see what they have here. Everybody's talking about everything other than... Okay, I guess not. I'm going to ask them. They should be listening. They already know the situation. Anybody in the chat room have any questions, feel free to ask. I'm right here on Facebook Live as well. This is Rudy Reyes on the Rude Dog Show on the Two Lights News Radio Network. Since those bars were raised, Coach, and you sent the message, you sent it clearly across their bow, how sold are you on them not only winning, but helping you as a coach recognize your potential to lead this team into championship territory this year?
It's important that we get to the championship this year and win it, due to the fact that we're a new team, and that would put us really, I should say, put a really stamp on the map.
I think so.
So go ahead.
No, I was just adding to what you're saying. It would definitely put the Los Angeles Scorpions on the map, not only from a WDFL level, but to put notice into the NFL that these guys are for real, that these guys are ballers, that every single time they're out on the field, they're going to give you 110% of who they are on every single play. Take ownership in the mistakes you make, find the ways to correct them, and use those corrections on the field. Coach, let's talk more about you. Let's talk about your background.
Okay.
Not only is a freshman at Morningside High School, which is your alma mater, but being a member, at least at the time in 1985, as a member of the world's largest marching band in the Guinness Book of World Records. What was that experience like to be mentioned in one of the world's longest running publications?
That was a true honor, and it was unexpected because I just kind of checked in Morningside High School, and one of the things I could do was play the clarinet, so I joined the band. And it just kind of unfolded from there, where every high school in the Los Angeles area played an ensemble at Dodger Stadium during the right before a Dodger game. And it was led by Danny Kaye. I believe he's passed away now. But the ensemble was led by him. And at the time, there was more people or more band members in that ensemble than anywhere in the world at one time.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. I was never even close to the Guinness Book of World Records for anything. So hats off to you for that, for that young achievement right there. But during your sophomore year, you'd chosen to take part in junior varsity football, varsity soccer in a goalie position, as well as the junior varsity in track and field. You're awarded first place in the high jump. Look, I too have played sports without recognizing how well I would do in a team environment on my first go-around, and you did very well. You seem to have mastered it early on in life. What was it like to have taken first place, and it set the tone for things to come athletically?
It's funny. I've always considered myself a football player, but in high school, I kind of didn't have the talent that I thought I had. So soccer and track and field kind of became my revenge sports. If I'm not going to shine in this, I'll shine in that. So that's pretty much how that happened.
I was on a championship baseball team. It was my first joint venture to kind of give other people a little background about myself. And I was the left fielder. Everybody says you're in left field. Well, I actually was. I was in left field. And it was very interesting. Balls were not hit to me quite often, but when they were, I caught them. Whether it's a ground, maybe a double or preventing a triple, I was there. I wasn't very good. As a matter of fact, during the photo session on the post-championship run, having to win the whole contest, everybody wanted to give me gum. I said, okay, cool, thanks a lot. All the same flavor, all the same type. And I was in front of a photo with a mouthful of gum. I couldn't spit it out, it's in my mouth. Well, what was I supposed to do? But what it did show me is, A, how kids are cruel, but what it also showed me is after winning, it boosted my own self-confidence. What did that do for you? Did you feel as though it was a booster for your life or wanting to win more, do more, and participate in more group activities in life?
It was kind of the same thing as it is today. I'm really a competitive person. I like to stay active. I like to stay busy. So doing that in high school, it came with some ridicule because Morningside is in mostly African-American population school then, and soccer was considered a Latino sport. African-American guys didn't play that. So I had to deal with that for 3 years.
I know your feeling. I know the feeling. Go ahead.
But when you get better at something, you change people's mindsets about what it is and who can be involved in it or not.
Right.
So you deal with some things because kids are kids. But when you're an athlete, when you like to compete, you like to try to win, all that talk means nothing because it becomes to a point where, you're talking about me, but you can't do it. So It is what it is.
Yeah, no, you're right. I was just going to say that other people see the way that winning changes mentalities, attitudes, perceptions towards those people can also be changed because winning cures a lot of ailments. People that are struggling, people that are fighting, people that are trying to do everything they can to get to the next level will hear the no's. That's just a part of the process. Lord knows I, myself, continue to hear no's. But that does not deter me from what I feel that I can do, what I can be even better at than I was the day before, or the time before, or the moment before. Was it just what you needed to continue striving to excel, to do your best in everything that you did? Are you with me there, Coach?
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay. Now, was winning something that you always continue to strive to do your best with after having your self-confidence boosted from those past wins?
at my age now, winning is important, but my most important focus is to make sure that the players that I come in contact are better players when they leave. I don't see myself with any team that I've ever coached having every single player back every year. It just doesn't happen. But you have to make sure that that player, wherever they go to next, can fit in and play because they're technically in front of Italy signed.
Okay. So things weren't always well with you, though. I mean, it wasn't just a bumps and bruises type situation. Despite lettering in varsity football through your 11th grade school year, winning team MVP, being the most inspirational, and dealing with a nagging neck injury seems to continue to plague you as you were getting older. As you participate in more sports, more injuries occur. That's just the way it is. But you played throughout the entire varsity soccer year, at least that given season, with that neck injury. I mean, however, with that, you still managed to win second place in the long jump in the track and field venture. I've never been plagued by injury, much less, trying to find a way to fight through it. So it's hard for me to know or to assimilate to that. But when you look back at the season and realize that you were playing through all this pain, did you recognize that you had a resiliency during that season? I mean, was it all about winning that basically said, I don't want to fail myself, so I'm going to continue striving regardless of whether I'm injured or not?
I'm old school, man. If I can walk, I can play. That's just me, man. I'm sorry. When I was younger,
well, I mean,
as you get older, you get injuries. You can't do what you used to do when you were younger. But then, if I can walk, man, I can play.
Okay. Well, if you're still hanging on to that, then by all means do it. I think I'm a little bit older. I could be wrong. I'm 43 going on 44 next month. Just in case I didn't mention that to anybody else out there. But I'll tell you, you still managed to win second place, and I think that the resiliency that we had when we were younger has everything to do with the way that we act as we get older. Why? Because the same level of pain tolerance, the same types of things that would otherwise hurt us when we're in our 70s or 80 years old is a scratch on the surface when you're 20, 18, 19. I know I'm just dating myself, but at any point this year, that year, did you realize that your playing days were older? Was there any indication, did you realize at any point that you said, well, I think I might be done here, and I think I need to hang up the cleats?
That kind of happens to everyone, and I actually did it twice. I played when I was 33. I played up until I was 33, minus the injuries and things that occurred to my pro career. But I hung him up at 33. I came back and played again at 37. And that was it. The game gets faster than you. And when that happens, it's time to hang him up.
You're right. Father Time is undefeated. I know I've said this on the show. It sounds like a broken record, but it's true. When you're old enough and you realize that your playing days are over, now look, mind you, I can still chuck a ball very, very far. I have a tight spiral and I can throw, I always have been. But I have to know when to say when. I'm not the most mobile guy, at least at the moment, but that can always change. I think that age is based on personality. It's your approach towards things. And I believe that if I had been injured in the amount of ways that you were injured, I probably would have found a way to fight through, because we always have an itch. I've spoken to a lot of NFL players, and for them, it's the same exact thing. Did you have an itch to get? Do you still have an itch to get back in there and do something?
No. I thought I might, and even worked out and trained for it, but no. Realistically, my body won't hold up longer than a quarter.
I hear you. I'm probably good for one quarter, and that's it myself.
I would be like Burt Reynolds in The Longest Yard. One more play.
You're based on the additional play that you have, so we can always be measured by that. Now, look, the nail in the coffin, so to speak, was the decision for you to call it quits. Always a crossroad for players who are trying to make and come to a standpoint. Ben Roethlisberger or the Pittsburgh Steelers also coming to crossroads to say, you know what, this CTE thing is real. I don't know if I'm going to be a part of this. I want to retire. But your decision to call it quits from a playing standpoint with a laundry list of serious injuries, concussion, tonsillitis, while playing varsity football, I think that everybody would try to find a way to redeem themselves, which is exactly what you did.
Yeah.
You won first place in the long jump, second in the triple, third in 200 meter and 300 hurdles, and your boys had won a CIF 2A division in addition, but you tore your hamstrings in the 4x100 meter relay. How much of a toll these injuries take on you personally, and did you believe somehow that you find a way to fight through it and get back, or did you believe at that point that you were truly automatically out of it?
I'm sorry, say that last part again.
Did you find a way to either want to get back to where you were, or did you believe that not only the cleats that were hanging up, but the socks next to them were doing the same thing, and you were done?
I'm sorry, I still did not hear that question clearly. That's why I can't answer.
No, that's all right. Did you realize that it was just done, that you were over, that everything you tried competing for had already been there, done that you'd finished finding a way, or did you want to fight to get back to play some more?
I pretty much accomplished a little bit more than I wanted to. Athletics taking me really all over the world. So when I look back at my career, there's not too much that I didn't accomplish. So the decision of finally hanging up was easy. There was nothing really to fix.
I think we all know when to say when. I know I can. I can certainly know when to say when, and for what reason, what purpose, what lays behind that decision-making process to make that a reality. Coach, you attended Compton College after graduating in 1988. You joined the football team. You played in only 6 games. You didn't finish the season because of a rib contusion. You decided to transfer to Saddleback College in 1990. But again, the returning ankle injury that you had acquired some time ago sidelines you, and you eventually just did not play. However, your dad came up with a very novel idea, and that was for you to, while you're rehabbing this ankle, to come and help him be a coach, not just a coach, but a defensive back coach for Culver City High School. When he approached you with that, what were your initial thoughts?
I kept getting hurt, and I couldn't understand why. But I wanted to stay around football, so I kind of latched on my father's coattails again, and just rehab, and thought of this family. They were a good bunch of kids, so I realized that my expertise can help them out a great deal. And it turns out that would be the first team in Culver City history to actually turn that program around. And they're a winning team and have been for the last 10, 15 years based on that one team. So it's all about, for me, I try to be a good influence wherever I go.
Well, that's what it's about, is understanding when to say when, but you want to stay close to the game. I know a lot of players interviewed Rod Woodson right here on the Root Dog Show a couple of weeks back, and the transition from being in and out of the league, being with the Raiders, not being with the Raiders, he took some time out to really reevaluate what he wanted to do. Now he's a quarterback coach for the Oakland Raiders, and I think based on my understanding, that every former player wants to do something. Joey Porter coming back from being a DB to now a defensive coach for the Steelers. So something to be said for people wanting to get back to help. And Ben has a good question here, right here in the chat room on Spreaker. It says, who will be the Scorpions' toughest opponent this year? I'll pose that question to you, Coach.
I'm sorry, say that.
Who will be the Los Angeles Scorpions' toughest opponent in the 2017 year?
Oh, definitely the Southern California Coyotes. They have been the best team for the last 5, 6, 7 years. They run a good scheme, offense and defense. They have pretty darn good athletes on their team, and they're our target.
And the target it is. I think the target is on their back, and I think they know it. I think they're more than aware that the Scorpions are going to breathe down their neck, and they'll probably be looking in the rearview mirror and saying, "Well, that was history that I've done." Good question. Thank you, Ben, for chiming in on that one. Coach, when you began taking part as a semi-pro player in 1993 for Ray Clay, which I know Ray very well, California Air Rangers in the wide receiver and defensive back positions, but you would eventually develop into a coach during those ongoing injuries. However, what really helps are breaks. Would you agree breaks are good for those people that have been playing for years, driving the nail as hard as they can every year after year after year?
It started off as I was trying to develop my talent and market myself to try to get to either arena football or Canada. I kind of figured the NFL was out of the question. Upon learning the business of football, I realized that I was too light. At the time was 165 pounds. And that was the reason why I kept getting hurt every year consecutively. Even with the California Air Rangers, there were a few games that I didn't play due to injury. And that was what led me to also start coaching, because I'm still there, but I can't compete. But I can help other guys get their technique better.
Technique's what it's about. Technique, which encompasses a lot of variety of positions, hand placement, foot movement, body action, if you're throwing motion, there's so many different dynamics. I think that when you look at refining your skills and helping other young men refine their skills, you can probably attribute discipline to that. You know that very well, being a head coach. I mean, you have a laundry list of teams for which you've nearly hand-built. When I say hand-built, I don't mean literally by hand, but you were part of the California Air Rangers, as aforementioned, for 2 years, going to the first-round playoffs in 93, 94, 98 through 2004, you were head coach, defensive coach. You were a utility everything for that team. You went to the first-round playoffs. I mean, you have a laundry list of accolades.
That was my father's team. We kind of started it from nothing. So to get it off the ground, we had to do whatever we could to get it done. So he was the coach, I was the quarterback. I know I've played defensive back my entire life, but I was the quarterback until we got one. Then I moved over to defensive back. As the team grew, it became too much for my father to own the team, general manage the team, and coach the team. And he pulled me to the side and said, "Son, I need you to stop playing. I need you to head coach the team." And of course, I balked at it, but I realized that I knew the offense, the defense, and the special team schemes. And it would give other guys an opportunity to play. So that's where my head coaching career began.
Well, and that's where it is now. Hey, there's so many different things. It's just amazing to see your resume. And I've never been a head coach. I have coached, but I've never been a head coach. However, I look at the 2006 Long Beach Lions, 2008 California Dolphins, 2007, 2010 Inglewood Blackhawks, 2011 Inglewood Patriots, and of course the Pacific Warriors women's pro football defensive back coach in 2012, the LA Falcons in 2012 and 13, LA Inferno 2013 to 14, High Desert Phoenix 2015 to 2016, and Los Angeles Scorpions now the head coach. And I think to myself, this is a resume. You went to the first round playoffs for the Phoenix. I mean, how are you able to insert all of these winning seasons, the playoffs, into something palatable for these young men this season?
Well, this is the reason why my resume, you see my name, I bounce around from team to team to team to team. My thing of football is to use every player you have. Most people don't agree with that. They have their starting 11, that's it. You're not being fair to the other guy who is breaking his tail to get to practice, coming to practice, he's running, sweating, doing up, down, going through all the drills, and game day, he doesn't play. That's not fair. My role as a coach has always been to find a role for every player on the team, period.
Even though you've bounced here, you've went there, you've done that, you've done so many great things, and while you were there, being able to be the embosser. When I say the embosser, I mean somebody who just put a stitch in here and there. Wherever there's something that's needed, something that needs to be done, something that you feel needed to be done, you would be the stitcher. You'd be the one to put that in position to help make everything else work. And people can, I bounced around a lot too when I was growing up, because I wanted to find out where I belong. And now it's in front of a microphone. It's in front of a mic. This big round thing. It's long. It's got a. This is where I am. Is this where I'm always going to be? Not necessarily, but it's where I'm comfortable. It's what I can do. It's how I can help be the difference in trying to help young men recognize their talent, their skill set, by giving them an outlet to talk about. Having a solid interview, talking to young players, trying to understand their mindset, what their development has been like, the pitfalls. And I do this all the time. Because everybody has a story. Everybody wants to be heard. And if you're a player out there, just like you know this as well as I do, you're sitting nodding your head. I can see it on your head. Well, not really see, but I can imagine. And looking at players, looking at where they want to be, giving them the reality, saying, look, you take ownership in this, you do your best in this, you will find out that what you put into it is what you will get out of it. Is that something you try to preach to them on a weekly basis every time there's a practice, or is that a conversation on the phone? How do those conversations occur?
The conversations that we basically have, again, I tell them the truth. You're trying to go take a job. If you look at the numbers of football players that participate from high school to college, the number drastically changes. You have almost 1 million kids that play high school football. You have 350,000 kids that participate in college football. There are 600,000 kids that get left out for whatever reason. When you talk about now the NFL, that number goes from 350,000 to hundreds. Now, when you draft a pool of 240 guys from that 500 guys, the number again.
I think the number gets a little bit, a little skewed. Would you say, Coach, about the guys who can make it? Like I I said, I've interviewed a lot of guys, and a lot of them can make it. The problem is that they're not being given an opportunity to make it a show what they can do. And I believe that this is the best outlet. I know the NFL doesn't have a farm league, and that's a shame. They're trying to take a page out of Major League Baseball's book and have a farm league. I believe this could be the farm league of the future for the NFL.
Exactly. And it's almost on the line of the Netflix show, Last Chance U. This is Last Chance Football. After this, there is nothing. There's old age. That's it.
Old age. Hey, man, you're not having me look anything I'm not going to look forward to here. You're not painting a pretty picture here. This is Rudy Reyes on the Two Lights News Radio Network right here on the Rude Dog Show. Coach, where can people buy tickets? I know a lot of people in the Los Angeles area that have either never heard of it, want to hear about it, want to watch what this hype is all about. Of course, there are commercials on K-Day rolling on this entire week for Los Angeles Scorpions. Where can people get their tickets from?
They can call our Scorpions hotline. I would have to look it up on my phone really fast. And they can also look us up, if I'm not mistaken, at www.lascorpions.com. If I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong.
No, I think you're right there. Look, everybody needs to get their tickets. Go to LosAngelesScorpions.com.
It's the thing of, it's for the fan that can't afford the Rams ticket, the Chargers ticket. It's in our backyard. San Pedro's not that far away. Harbor College isn't that far away. It's freeway located. About the only minus might be the lack of alcohol because it's a school campus, but you still get the same football atmosphere, and it's not close. There's not 80,000 people there. There's hopefully a good pack of 5,000, 10,000, and it's up close and personal. You're right there.
Hopefully so. You'll be able to listen to me live on the Los Angeles Scorpions radio network. That will be going live at our first inaugural episode and show, which will be podcasted on Los Angeles Scorpions website at LosAngelesScorpions.com. Will be me, Tony Cordes Jr., and some special guests from time to time. Post-interviews, pre-interviews, in-game conversation, halftime conversation, stats, analysis, and more on the Los Angeles Scorpions radio network. And, Coach, I want to thank you so much for taking your time out. I appreciate it. And I will. I look forward to having you to talk to during the regular season at halftime for your thoughts on how the half has gone so far for you.
I appreciate you. I've been in this a long time, and this is about the biggest it's ever been. So we should all take an opportunity of what we've been given so far and running with it. Players, coaches, me, everybody.
Yeah, no, I agree. Everybody needs to take part of this. I'm excited to do this. I am the color commentator as well as the technical director for broadcast to try to get everything, T's crossed and I's dotted, I guess, for lack of a better term. So make sure everybody checks it out. You get to listen to me on a color basis. I'm excited. This opportunity, I've never done this before. I've done color commentary, but not like this. So this is a new chapter for me. And just like with all these other young men out there, have the ability to add this on their resume, to make an NFL team look at who they are. Not only from an athletic standpoint, but from a personal standpoint. I don't know how much I have said this over the years to get people involved in the process. Be there at the game. Get involved in the game. Wear the colors. Be involved. Take part. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain to cheer on your home team. And that is the Los Angeles Scorpions. Slightly smaller than the StubHub Center. You're talking about 15,000. StubHub only houses 25. So you want to give the Los Angeles Chargers a run for their money. Make sure you come, sit down, stay for a while, enjoy the game, and enjoy yourself. So, Coach, I look forward to working with you, talking to you during halftime of the upcoming Los Angeles Scorpions seasons on the World Developmental Football League circuit. We may have lost Coach. We lost you, Coach. Unfortunate. But this is Rudy Reyes on San Jose Scorpions Network. Hey, he's a busy guy. He's got stuff he has to do. So I'll let him do his thing.
I fell out for a minute, Rudy. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's okay. Not a problem. But hey, thanks for coming on. Look forward to working with you in the near future. And I'll see everybody at the Los Angeles Scorpions game, LA Harbor College, August 26th at 1 p.m. Make sure you get there early. Make sure you get your tickets and come on down. Enjoy yourself.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me.
Not a problem. Thank you. This is Rudy Reyes of the Root Dog Show on the Two Lights News Radio Network. I will see everybody tomorrow. Thanks for tuning in.